Hi, you are listening to the Diary of a Medium, Stories from the Spirit World podcast. I'm your host, Ep6, psychic medium, spiritual mentor, and founder of the Modern Mediumship Academy. This podcast is for you if you have ever been curious about the spirit world, if you've had weird, unexplained experiences, or signs from the universe that you have dismissed but secretly you couldn't forget. Because mediumship isn't just for the chosen few, it's already within you, and it's time for you to claim your power. Hey everybody, welcome back to Diary of a Medium, Stories from the Spirit World podcast. And if we haven't met before, I am Em and I am your host. Now, this is a little bit of a, impromptu recording because it's been an interesting week for me. And this week, as I'm recording this, the week around about the 2nd of September, which happens to be my birthday, also has become the week that my dad also passed away. This will be 8 years ago for me. So I wanted to talk a little bit because this subject's come up for me this week. I wanted to really talk about, what I call the void, right? And it's this void for me because I have my birthday, the kids want to celebrate me, but my birthday became the day that I got the phone call. A lot of us have had or been in that situation where we received that phone call. Living halfway across the world from the rest of my family, we always have said it's a bit like the price on the ticket when, you make the decision to move far away, that there's going to be a time that comes where you're going to get that phone call. And even if you're not halfway across the world, right? And that came for me on the morning of my birthday in 2017 when I received the phone call to say that my dad was in hospital and he was really sick. What transpired after that, as I shared with you in a previous, or touched on in a previous episode, was then this journey from Australia to Germany and arriving in Germany to find out that he had passed away, literally less than probably 36 hours after I had that phone call. And every year there becomes for me this real tug of war internally and emotionally between celebration and grief. And I know that so many of you will resonate with what I'm saying here. And I was only talking to my beautiful friend Kylie the other day, who had her son's birthday come around, and you will hear our interview together in a future episode coming up. But that celebration of his birthday, but also the grief of that person not being here. And a lot of us go through this. It's such an internal struggle. And for me, it's almost like one day is my birthday. There's this void day in between where I was traveling. And then there was the day he passed away. And it kind of there's so many emotions going on in my body over the space of that 48 hours. And I know I'm not the only one. And I know that I've been pulled to talk about this because so many of you will feel what I'm talking about right now. So for me, that middle day, it's like this void day. My body doesn't know what to do. It's not in celebration. It's kind of not in grief, but it's replaying the events. And it's such an interesting concept, right? We know, if you've read the book, the body keeps score, the body remembers, it wants to replay. And it's not to re-traumatize you. And it's almost like we how can I put this? It's almost like we don't want to forget, right? So our body reminds us. But there's this feeling and pull between wanting to be able, certainly for me, to celebrate myself, my birthday, and have fun and enjoy that, but also this feeling of knowing what's coming on, knowing that the anniversary is then approaching, where my body remembers everything that it went through in that journey across the world. And what I want to say is that it's okay. Like it's really okay to sit in that void. It really is. I've been there this week. And as I'm recording this, I'm at the end of this week of going through this. And I've had to allow myself to just replay through the emotions that needs to come out and be okay with the feeling of, I can sit in the void. I can sit here right now. It's okay. But find the balance between celebrating myself and also celebrating what I did have, celebrating all of the things about my love for my dad as well. And I know that this happens to a lot of people when, the birthdays come up, the anniversaries. There's this pull between wanting to celebrate that person's birthday and wanting to acknowledge them and, not forget, but the grief of them not being here. And it's important to feel what you need to feel, process what you need to process, but not to stay there. And this is the important thing, because we're torn between knowing, like, our loved one wouldn't want us to be in grief. Our loved one wouldn't want us not to celebrate ourselves. Our loved one would want us to celebrate the time that we had them, be it a long time, be it a short time. But there's this internal conflict, right? That if we allow ourselves to celebrate, then somewhere along the line, we're disrespecting them. We're disrespecting their loss or losing them. And I want you to know that that's not the case. It isn't the case that we're disrespecting them, but we also have to get ourselves to a place of being able to live for them, keep moving through our own life for them, and not sitting too long in that void. It's we have to feel it to heal it, right? It just sort of came in, right? We have to feel it to heal it. We have to feel what needs to be felt in order for us to move through and not to sit there for too long. And this is really important, because when we sit there for too long, that's when we go down in the void. That's when we lose ourselves, when we start to be sucked under. It's this feeling of being pulled down and pulled under. So, if you're listening to this and you really resonate with what I'm saying in this, is, I've moved through so many things this past week, and this is for me pretty much every year around the same time as a lot of you would feel. And I've sat in the birthday, I've sat in the void, I sat in the grief, but I haven't allowed it to pull me in. I've allowed myself to witness it. I've allowed myself to be gentle with myself. Have I had tears? Yes. Have I had what-ifs? Yes, but I've also had some amazing things happen. I've turned the drive into getting here, into this podcast, talking about the things, sharing the things, allowing my voice to be heard. And it's been so overwhelming, the messages that I've received in authenticity and how people have really related to even the first few episodes that I've released. And this is why I want to talk about this right now, because it's so fresh for me. It's so in my energy field to share this space that we have to move through. And it doesn't matter, like, some years are good, right? Some years you get through and you're like, oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. In other years, depending on what's been going on around you as well, it can bring you into that a lot deeper. And I know I've had a lot of energy movement for myself in the last few weeks. I've been moving through lots personally, which I think is why this year has impacted me in a very different way than it normally did. And it's allowed me to find drive and passion to bring something to the table, to step up rather than move down, make myself smaller, go inwards. I've actually gone to this expansion. And I know this does happen for a lot of people as well. When they move to a certain point in their own grieving process, which is your own grieving process, not like anyone else's, there comes a time where we turn that pain into something else. We turn that grief into something different. And if you've been called to do this, I want you to really feel into this. Like, what is it that you want to bring to people? Is it sharing things? Is it bringing some healing to people? Is it finding a voice, whatever that might be? And it's almost like I can't find the words. Like, I'm looking, but I can't find the words because I feel like it isn't words. I feel like it's a feeling. So, like, I just want you to take a moment to sit with it, just feeling the things I'm saying rather than hearing them, and feeling for what is that for you? What is it that you're sitting on that you could bring, that that you want to do? There's a dream, there's a little spark, there's a thought, there's an interest. And when I think about that for me as well in my journey, and talking about this void between celebration and grief, thinking about that from a mediumistic point of view, thinking of that from the eyes of a medium, and how when we bring this to the table as a medium, we help people with that void, right? We help them. The void that is there, they're coming to us to help them understand, to reconcile something, to hear words that they've never heard before, or just to even know that their loved one is still around them. And as mediums, we actually get to bring healing to the void of connecting people with their loved ones in the spirit world. I remember the very first time that a medium here locally to me, who I went to see, who I love a lot, I remember the first time that my dad came through. It was such a profound experience because as soon as the medium started speaking to me, I had this overwhelming energy that came through my body. And I had this whooshing sound in my ears. It was so loud. And as he was talking, I had no doubt whatsoever that this was my dad, because I had the experience in my body. He brought the energy of my dad to me, connected to me. And as mediums, that's what we want to do with our sitters, because when we connect with their loved one, we connect with our sitter. It's a three-way conversation, right? We're bringing the energy of the loved one connected to their loved one in front of you and you. So there's this build of energy between the three of you that has your beautiful client in front of you absolutely know without a shadow of the doubt that their loved one is with them. Why? Because they feel them and you bring them to life again for that person. It's not about the things you say. It's not about the description of the loved one that you give them. It's the energy that comes in to the reading. And obviously we're clarifying that with evidence that we're bringing in, messages, connection, memories. It might be a nickname. It might be something special that was between them. But in that moment, we get to be the people that help. We get to be the mediums that help to find that healing in the void with the loved one in the spirit world. And this is so profound in the work that we do as mediums, the healing that we can bring. And when I think about what is mediumship to me, it is a healing modality. You will hear me banging on about this. I truly believe this. It's a healing modality like a lot of other healing modalities. that are out there in that I think a lot of people never really see it in that light, see it from the eyes of being a healing modality, because what can be more healing than bringing together someone with their loved one when they didn't get the goodbye, when they wonder if their loved one heard them in their last moments, and you're able to reconcile that, to bring in the information. When we think about the void, that void space from, I guess, from the eyes of being the person who's lost someone, and then the eyes of a medium who is able to bring that connection, just be the person that can help someone with that. When I share my stories of things that happened to me, I remember my profound moment being the moment that I thought, if I could bring this healing to people by connecting them to their loved ones in the spirit world, why would I not want to do that? Why would I not want to bring something so profound to people? And that really was the thing that started me on my journey of looking for mentorship, for looking and trying to understand mediumship myself. So that was kind of the journey that I went on when I realized that I could help people to really heal this space in their heart. And I've had so many people even say that to me. Like, I remember one lady that I connected to her mum, and her mum had said she had to make this big decision that she was still weighing on her. It was a burden, and years and years later, she was still had this burden of this decision that she had to make, and that it was okay, that she had made the right decision and that was the right time. And she had to make the decision to switch off her machine, her life support machine. And even just hearing those words, she contacted me days later and just said to me, you will have no idea the burden that has been lifted, the burden that I was carrying around making that decision. That's healing, that void as well. So if you're listening to this and, you've had to make a decision, or you're sitting in the void of maybe, can I celebrate, when there's grief, and am I sitting in the void of burden or shame or guilt of something that I had to do or make decisions for? Your family, they don't want you to sit there. Your loved one knows that you would always have made the right decision for them in that moment and in that time. They don't want you to carry that burden of that decision that you had to make, or making a decision to celebrate whatever you decide to do. Whatever feels right is what they would want. So if you're struggling to make a decision over something, maybe instead of trying to make this decision from the mind, should I not do this, or should I do this? What should I do with, I don't know why I'm saying this, but my loved one's ashes, like, should they be here? Should they be with me? Should they go somewhere else? They don't mind. They don't mind what you do. They know and trust that you would make the right decision. So feel for it. Feel in your body. Anchor into your yes and your no in your feeling space. Start to make decisions from there instead of getting caught up in all of this analytical mind decisions. Drop into your body and find out, what is my body's yes? How does that feel in my body when my body is a yes? Maybe there's a little bit of excitement, maybe there's a little bit tingling in the body, maybe you get butterflies in the tummy. Just sit for a moment, take a breath, and connect in and ask your body, what is a heck yes for me in the body, right? What is that? What is that feeling? Start to trust that feeling in the body, and think about, what's hell no? What is the hell? Absolutely nowhere. This is a definite no for me. Check into your body. A good way to do that is to think about something that you are a definite no for. So if this is something like, if a friend said to me tomorrow, hey, let's go and bungee jump, and you're a hell no for that, feel into your body. What would that feel like in a hell no for that? You know, someone says, hey, do you want to just hold this snake for a little while? Hell no, I don't. Feel into the body. What does that feel like for you? Start to trust your inner knowing. Start to trust. And this is all coming back round. It's all circling back round. This episode is like, I am freewheeling this absolute, spirit is just really telling me. And I know that whoever gets to listen to this, you're going to listen to this at exactly the right time that you needed to hear these lessons. And this circles back round to that spark of the thing that you want to do, the dream that you have. You're trying to make those decisions from the mind. You're trying to make those decisions from the headspace. Like, the mind will always keep you stuck in that void. It always will, because it wants to keep you safe. It doesn't want you to fail. It doesn't want you to regret anything. So it's just going to keep you small and it's going to keep you safe. The best thing that you can do is just start to learn to tap into your body and make decisions from a feeling space. All right? Don't sit in that void. Don't get stuck there. That dream that you have, right? It already exists for you. It's already in your energy field. There's a life that you're living in a timeline somewhere where you are doing, I just got goosebumps, the thing that you want to do. And one thing I'll say to you is, and I may repeat this, so, honestly, sometimes I have no clue what I've even talked about, especially when I'm channeling information in. But when I actually did my business plan for my beauty business some years ago, which I actually closed down to go all in on my spiritual business, there was a question on that. I worked with a beautiful branding girl, and one of the questions on the information that she gave me to fill in was that if you had no constraints whatsoever and you could do anything, nothing was a barrier, what would you be doing? And my answer on there was, I would want to be connecting people to their loved ones in the spirit world and traveling the world doing that. Well, I've ticked off one of two pieces of that for sure, which is amazing. And I'm actually working with other, developing mediums all over the world, like internationally. I've got students in Canada, in America, here in Australia. So I guess that I am in some way traveling the world and helping other people do that now. But when I wrote that, I didn't for one moment believe that that was possible. I just thought that that was a dream that I had. It was something that I thought, oh my gosh, I would really love to be doing this. And at that particular time, when I wrote that, I didn't realize that that actually existed for me in another timeline. And this is the timeline right now, right where I am. So if you have a dream, if there's something sitting in a journal somewhere, waiting to be given some light, get out the void, open the journal, start to feel into what that is for you, and just go with it. Just take the step, the next step. You don't need to know all the pieces. Your loved ones are here to guide you, and I know that you're going to hear lots of beautiful episodes here where I am talking to people about how spirit have guided them to step into the dream of what they've wanted to do. Some people have had this on their to-do list for decades, and now's the time, the right time arrived for them to step out of the void and trust that they are guided and their loved ones are with them. So thank you so much for joining me. I would love to know your comments. Please leave me a comment if you resonate with this, right? If you have something on your to-do list, you feel that void. I've gone from talking about, the grief and the celebration together to the void, to the blooming dreams on the paper. Like Spirit just had me go all over. But I trust that I know that what I just shared with you is really profound. And some of you will just be going, holy crap, this is me. Like, I know that I'm in the void and I have the thing that I'm not doing that I want to do. So this is your sign from Spirit to just lean in. You don't have to know everything. You don't need to know all the pieces. You just have to take that first step, and Spirit will catch you. Spirit will always catch you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm a spiritual mentor and a psychic medium, and I honestly feel so blessed and have so much gratitude that I am here today on this journey, and also supporting other developing mediums to take their first step on this journey as well. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon in the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to Diary of a Medium, Stories from the Spirit World. If something in today's episode has sparked something within you and you are curious about your own spiritual gifts, then check out my website on how I can support you. If you have your own story to share, then please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to support me, you can subscribe, leave a review, or simply share this with a friend. So until next time, trust yourself, trust Spirit, and keep listening to the whispers from the universe. Bye for now.